Yo boys, what's good? We're back with another interview. Today from Dropservice Academy, we're gonna be interviewing Elias. If you guys haven't already seen my interview with Parker where he explains his story, how it only took him 2 weeks to make his first sale with his cleaning business, and now he's making over $15,000 per month in just February, looking to make $20,000 in March. If you guys haven't checked out that interview yet, go check it out. It's gonna be linked in the description. But this is Elias. He has a different twist. He started not only a cleaning business, but he also has a general contracting business. So basically what that means is he used to just be doing all the general contracting himself because it's just been something that he's been doing for the last 5-10 years. But now, since he's learned the drop servicing business model, since he's been in DSA, he is now outsourcing all the labor for that. And we go into an interview about how he closed a $500,000 contract with the window installation company. We go into the entire A to Z of how he went about getting that contract down, locked in, and getting cashed out over $400K for that one particular job. So we explain all that, and then we also talk about his cleaning business as well in the Buffalo area. But guys, Elias is absolutely crushing it. He is the definition of a Bills Mafia guy. Such a good kid. We're just gonna get right into the interview. And if you guys haven't subbed to this channel yet, what are you doing? We're gonna be posting interviews from not only students from DSA, but I'm in Miami if you guys haven't already known that. I personally have a cleaning business in Miami, and we also have another one in Nashville. We're gonna be getting into the podcast game. We're gonna be interviewing a ton of people in Miami that's crushing it. I already have 7-8 guests lined up that we're gonna be slowly rolling out to you guys. So make sure to sub to this channel. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to comment. One more thing too, if you guys haven't joined our free group yet, Dropservice 101, I have the link for that in the description below. Basically, we started a free school group that anyone can join. There's a ton of free module content in there. There's 2 mini courses right now and a ton of other different valuable information that you guys can run up. Go check it out. You're also in a community of over 400 like-minded individuals. People that are trying to start their own business online are all in there that you can network with. So make sure to check out that free group, join, and I'll see you in there, and let's get into the interview. But let's just get right into this. So Elias, we haven't even introduced yourself yet. Just who is Elias, and when did you join Dropservice Academy, and like what were you currently doing when you joined? Like what was the status of like your work career and everything?
Absolutely. So my name's Elias Perino. 27 years old. I have my degree in renewable energies engineering from AU. Go Saxons. Right out of the gate, I started out as a ceramic engineer, technically a reliability engineer for Saint-Gobain. Spent 2 years there. Ended up leaving West Virginia where it was at, moved back to New York to spend some time with family. Ended up working for a company called Construction Robotics. Moved from a field service engineer to a business development manager, handling the entire western half of the US and international sales. Did a little over 1.5 million in sales my first year as a salesman. Ended up moving to Milton Cat, which is a very large dealer for Caterpillar. They're one of the largest in the country. Worked there as an inside sales rep. Watched your videos through and through when you were doing
Crypto?
When you were doing the crypto, thank you. And thought that this guy's a very legitimate guy. It's just stuff that I don't understand and I'm not good at, and I'd probably lose a lot of money trying to figure it out. And then I started watching you do the drop service stuff. And I was like, now this is something that I could do. I understand, makes sense to me. And this is the guy that I want to do it with because he's clearly giving honest. It's not one of those, oh, here's a PowerPoint for $500 and, you know, good luck for doing drop shipping and everything. It was clearly an outlined community with an honest guy. And so that's where I ended up going. And in January, I was fired from Milton Cat. We're going through that process right now. And it was honestly the leap that I needed because I was doing this part-time, and doing it part-time can work, but it's not going to be sustainable in the sense of, I think that there's a very sustainable method and model, and clearly it's working now for doing this full-time.
And then like before we even get into Milton Cat and like you getting fired, so you joined the program, like the academy and everything like that, the community inside around, would you say like October, November?
Yeah. Yep. So it started up in October.
I think it was
October 23rd.
Like you were saying though, it's like there's all these other different programs out there, and the way that they market them, it's just like you're selling a dream where it's you start this, maybe give or take a little bit of time, you're gonna be making a ton of money with it. And it's like this, you're building a business. Like you are literally learning how to start a business from getting the LLC. You're learning how to hire people for the first time. Like there's a lot of people that are joining to start their cleaning businesses or whatever industry that they want to do in the home service space where they've never even hired anyone before. Like you're
Right.
literally hiring people. Like you're conducting interviews, you're setting up all your online presence, you're doing marketing, you're doing sales. Like there's three different aspects of this instead of just like running ads to a product and hoping that you get like a lot of engagement clicks and people are buying it or whatever. It's like you're running a business. So obviously it's not going to be like a get rich quick scheme. It's like something that is building IP, but you're also building like the equity along the way where maybe you could sell it one day down the road where you can cash out 4 or 5 years from now. You can't necessarily do that with like a lot of the other like copywriting or all the other stuff that you like all these freelancing opportunities. It's like this, you're building a business.
Right. And on top of that, it's the stuff that I wish I learned in high school. It's the stuff that I wish I learned in college. I wish it was a mandatory course, how to start a business, because I'd argue that that is where this is most useful. Is if you find that the cleaning business is not one that you vibe with really well, you still know now how to set up an LLC. You know how to get your EIN number. You know how to hire people. You know how to make cold calls. Nobody likes doing cold calls, but in this community, working with these guys, cold calling is fun. It's enjoyable. Where do you hear that ever? And so it's the opportunity to work with mentors and community and build that camaraderie. I mean, you're a sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So I've been spending the most time right now with you, Parker, Mark, and it's showing in my business. And so it's absolutely the opportunity. Are you going to get rich quick? No. That's not how this works. But are you going to build a business where you can be financially secure, where you can rely on yourself, where you can actually start building generational wealth? Absolutely. And the best part about it is it's completely up to you. I mean, my success is completely determined on the amount of effort that I put in. And I think that's a big part about it because I saw quite a few people saying, well, you can't just take somebody's business model and repeat it and expect to get the same results. That's not what this is. Those drop shipping apologies, those drop shipping services
Sure.
and everything like that, the schools and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what that is. That's absolutely what it is. It's not a template. It is literally step by step. These are the rules you have to follow. Do it exactly this way. And then when you ask questions, you're not going to get an answer. Um, so it's the contract work or whatever it is, where you buy a house and then you sell the contract to the house and you never actually see the house. Yeah, not the same process.
Yeah, it's like
Not the same process.
that's cookie cutter. It's like
Thank you.
this isn't
Exactly.
cookie cutter.
It's a cookie cutter business, and this is not that. Can you set up so it's identical? Sure. Will you have the same success? I don't know. But there's things that I do different than what you've taught. But like I said, I now know how to do payroll. I know how to set up my taxes. I know how to. I used to do sales and cold calling and everything like that, but this is the most confident I've ever been in my cold calling. I know how to write contracts. I have accessibility to contracts. And again, the community on itself is worth its weight in gold. It,
100%.
absolutely 100%.
Yeah. And there's two people, like you're from Buffalo. I don't know if you wanted to say that, but there's two people inside of DSA that's from Buffalo. So you're even able to meet David. You were able to, I mean, unexpectedly, of course, you guys are like,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah, we were shoveling out the Bills Stadium just for him to lose. Go Bills.
but yeah, it's like you scratch your back, I scratch mine, or I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of situation where it's like now David's a provider on your cleaning business where it's like if you have workflow that you can't fulfill, you're gonna send it David's way. And then if he has workflow that he can't fulfill, then he's gonna send it your way type situation. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Doesn't feel like it's friendly competition. Obviously, we want to build each other up and challenge each other to be better than we were yesterday. But I mean, it's such an untapped market that I never cross paths with David. I never compete against him. It's always like I'm sending him leads and he's sending me leads on stuff that we can't fulfill, or if it looks like it would make more sense for him to do it. So I mean, even in that, we're in the same city doing the exact same job, and it's not a competition thing. It actually is help, which is awesome. Where do you get that in another industry?
Yeah, no, 100%. But explain to everyone that's gonna be watching this. So you have the cleaning business, but you also have a general contracting business too. So you
Right.
started the cleaning business with us, and then you had a general contracting business, but you didn't apply it with the drop servicing business model. Like it was more so like your dad was like on the floor, like doing all, like he was part of the crew doing all the jobs and everything like that. Like they weren't scaling, like it was just them. So like kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got started in construction in high school. That was my main thing. I was doing, I was a gopher. I moved my way all the way up to being a roofer, a cider, all these things, because that was the business that my dad ran. He's been running it for 40, 50 years. But it was always small scale. So it was DBA, setting up, the jobs, doing all the work himself. So he was going out, securing the sale, doing payroll for the crews and everything. At one point in time, the business got up to 10 crews and he was managing all of that. And it was a nightmare and it was a pain. He did it very well. My dad is a very hard worker. You'll never outwork my dad. But it's exhausting. And now at 60 years old, that's not what he wants to do. I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. So after I left Cat and I started doing the cleaning business, I was looking at these and we even talked about it, I think, in my intro video. When we first talked for the first time, it was okay, let's see how we can expand this model to other businesses. Because if we can prove that it works for other businesses, you just opened up a huge opportunity to be the lead guy teaching other people how to set up businesses. So that's what we did. So right now we still have, we're what's called a self-performing GC. So it's a self-performing general contractor. So what that means is we can subcontract our work out to other people through the 1099 system, the same way you do with cleaning, or we can do the work ourselves. So there's some jobs where if it's really high profitability and we can knock it out in 2 days, we do it ourselves. If it's something where we can pay people $600 a day and then we just collect the overhead and profit and everything, charge them out for labor, that's the system that we use. And that is the same system that you're using for the cleaning business. It's almost that, in a sense, like that part of it is cookie cutter. You just take that system and paste it into this system. It's the same. I mean, I would argue that general contracting for cleaning is more like what you're setting up. And so, and it's a great system. It's a system that's been working. Some of the richest people I know are general contractors. Some of the smartest people I know are general contractors. I'm not just saying that because now I have a general contracting business, but the
Some of the most handsome people are general.
Absolutely. They're brilliant. They're hysterical. I love them dearly. But I mean, it's a really good business model. So right now, what we're looking at is we do our own jobs. We subcontract jobs out. We actually are even the subcontractor on a few jobs ourselves. But it's applying the same business model and methods that are in the Dropservicing Academy to general contracting, and it's working really well. It's something that this is not breaking the mold on anything. This isn't anything new. General contractors have been doing it for a while, but before I didn't have the knowledge, confidence, or capability to do it. Now I do, and it's working. It is successful. It's the most money I've ever made,
In the shortest
consistently.
amount of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. And
Exactly.
we're going to talk about that in a second.
For sure.
Because I don't know if you guys watching this are even on the email list because this is going to be on YouTube, but in our email list, we kind of highlighted Elias the other day because he landed this massive contract, probably the biggest contract that you ever obtained. And we kind of wanted to just tell the email list like, hey, this is what happened. And we're going to be setting up this interview. So Elias can come on and explain like the entire A to Z, how everything went down from the beginning of the cold call to actually starting to execute on the fulfillment. So let's just get into it. Like, what happened? How did you land this $500,000 contract? What was it? How did you start? Like, what inspired you to do the cold calling? Like, let's just start unraveling this and we can dissect it.
Absolutely. So, my neighbor is a salesman for this window company. He had approached us before about how they do subcontract work. At that time, we just weren't focusing on that, so it kind of went to the wayside. Then I think it's been a year and a half, 2 years later. So this was in theory somewhat of a cold call. I reached out again and said, actually, I'm sorry, let me step that back. We have the lead gen meeting with Parker. I think it's like every Tuesday or something like that. And his answer was, you just got to get out there. You got to go do it. Here's all the tools, and just be confident that eventually it's going to work. One of my mentors, Roy Butler, has always had a motto, and that was 100 no's equals a yes. My dad follows that same motto, and it's true. So I've never looked at a no as a bad thing. It's just gotten me one step closer to the yes. And so
the hacker method, hang up, call again.
Yeah, I've always, when I worked for CR, I said I want to start a cold calling method of just saying, "Hey, have you ever heard of mules?" No. All right, Google it, and then hang up, see if they call me back. But sadly, that did not work very well, and I'm not there anymore. I ended up going to Millen Cat. I should have stayed. But anywho, uh, so I reached out to this company again and was like, "Hey, we knew there's some opportunities that you guys have. I know that you guys have a bunch of windows that you have sold that you don't have anybody to install them." They're like, "Absolutely." I was like, "Great. Can we set up a meeting where we could talk about how this might work out?" And they said, "Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to." And it was something that I didn't have a whole script put together. It was because I don't do well with scripts. That's what's going to make me look like a fool,
Yeah, you were just
more than I
fired up
already
from
do.
Parker's outreach session.
I was pumped. The community that I was in was already hyping me up to just go out there and do it, and it's going to work. So we gave them a call, and then before you know it, we're setting up an in-person meeting. I'm going through and I'm starting to look at all the questions, the stuff that I ask from the hiring sheet that we have that I'm going to want to make sure that I've got covered. And if they don't ask those questions, I'm going to ask it just to make sure that they know that I care. And so
And was this
we're
the
going,
first dial? Was this, or was this like the second or the third? This was he picked up the first time. So you got,
yeah, yep. So this was a first time thing. And it actually wasn't even with the guy that had asked us. It was with a completely different person. It was with their business manager.
okay.
So for all intents and purposes, they had no idea who I was, which is why I said it was a cold call, because it wasn't John, it was Christine. And
Okay.
so had a great meeting with them. They basically told us that it wasn't just what I thought it was 3 million, it was 24 million in Windows that they needed installed. So I'm sitting there
For
looking
how
at it
long?
going, that
Just
is
in
the
general?
yeah, so that's what they have currently in their backlog.
Okay.
So I was like, great, that is something that we can help you with. So immediately I'm thinking that's not just one crew, that's multiple crews. Here's a chance to scale the business if done right, taking the right time to do it. And we could have a very lucrative and very mutually beneficial relationship with this company. And these guys are the top of the line. They are the best of the best. You can't even get their stuff in stores. You have to work with them specifically. And that's the type of business that I like to do. I like to be the best of the best. I like to be working with the best. I like to work for the best. So very
Yep.
excited to work with these guys.
Was
And
that
so
number that he said, like we have $24 million worth of Windows to install, was that on the phone, or was that when you met with him in person and started the in-person meeting?
that was in person.
That
Yep.
was in
So
person.
that's, yeah, exactly.
And was
So
this like the next day, or did you have to wait a week? Like how long was it until like you went from the phone to like meeting them in real
I
life, like
believe it was a week.
a
I
week?
believe it was a week. Yep.
Did
Yeah.
you
So quick,
follow
I mean,
up?
which is quick turnaround. That so they had basically set it up. So they said, "Hey, we're going to meet together in a week." Awesome.
Mhm.
Have I followed up since then? Yes. I actually just got off the phone with them earlier this evening,
Well, I was
just to
gonna be
re
like going into the meeting. So like you're like, cool, next week, sweet. Did you just show up, or did you call them like during that week time frame where it's like, hey, like are we still on? Like I'm just trying to like paint the picture for someone that wants to start a general contracting business, use this method. And it's like if they actually get a lead like this, that could be like a game changing, completely life changing situation. So like just to like prepare them for that.
Yeah, so we had talked the earlier, like an hour before the meeting, just to confirm
Okay.
everything. Usually with these bigger contractors and everything, if they set up the in-person meeting, unless they call you to cancel it, they're planning on doing it. As
So
far as the experience that I've had with them, and so we get to this meeting, we're going through like the numbers and everything, going through the system, and of course the question that we ask is, like what's the average? What are they looking at? And that was when we got the number that we got. We were like, yeah, we can work with that. That's a pretty good one. So we're looking at a system right now where we're going to go through, we're going to get their master training. We're going to go through this plan and really focus on doing it ourselves, being the best at it so we can still be self-performing contractors, GCs. And then we're going to start scaling. We're going to start bringing crews in. I've already got a crew in Buffalo that's going to be ready to go and set up. So I'm super excited for this opportunity. There's still a lot of obstacles. There's still a lot of things that we're going to work our way through. The first check hasn't come in yet, and of course it wouldn't. Like, there's no reason that it would.
yeah.
But I'm just very excited for the opportunity, very thankful for the opportunity, and 100% would not have gotten this opportunity without the Drop Servicing Academy. Wouldn't have happened.
That's crazy, dude. That's like actually insane.
It's life changing for me. It is the largest sale I have ever made for my own business,
And
bar
this
none.
was literally like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after you got let go from
Yeah.
the cat.
Yep, exactly. It was a very quick turnaround. Nobody trips, falls, and stumbles into luck like I do. Um, but and I'd argue in this situation, this is one of those very rare situations for me where it was just following the process and having it work.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that. Very excited to work with these guys. It's a really good opportunity, and mostly thankful for the academy to give me the confidence, the training, the know-how, and the capability to get out there and do it.
Yeah, no, that's sick to hear, dude. Like that's fire. And then
Yeah, crazy.
so what you're going to be starting with for the year, you said it was an annual contract for 500,000. So explain like how you're going to be going about like doing the fulfillment for that, like what that process was. You said that you're going to be on the ground in the beginning, but how did you seek the other crews that you're going to be lining up? You said that you had a crew in Buffalo. I think Malik helped you with that, or
Terrence.
Terrence, yeah, Terrence helped you with
Yeah.
that. Malik is Parker's cleaner. But how did that like all get broken down? And then you said that you think that for the first crew for this contract, it's only going to cost you like 100 grand to fulfill. So
Right.
explain like the margins of like what the contract would look like for the next.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the way that this is set up is it is a they have a flat rate for how they install their windows, the same way that I do flat rates for cleans. So they have a Monday through Friday schedule. You are going to do this job. You're going to do this job. You're going to do this job. You're going to do this job. So we know right off the bat how many jobs we're going to get, how many windows we're going to install, what that looks like, all of the materials. There's zero material in that list, which is insane because usually you have to account for materials in your costs. We don't.
Wow.
The only thing that we have to account for is our labor costs. And then, of course, costs of doing business. But as far as like stuff that isn't completely the same with every business, we're looking at labor and that's it. So that's not including materials, which is huge. That's a huge thing for us. So when you factor in, like I said, our first crew is going to be W2 style. So it's going to be me, it's going to be my dad, and it's going to be one other employee. So if we're paying our employee the going rate of what a window installer makes, you add in, our goal is to get in health benefits, get in 401k, actually set up a business. So eventually my nephews can join the business if they'd like to, if they want it to be their first job, be able to provide for employees the way that I wanted my other employers to do. And some did, some didn't. I'd like to be the group that can do that.
Yeah.
So when you factor all that in, you're looking at maybe 100 grand in labor when you include health benefits, 401k, all that. So that's 400 grand left in opportunity and potential. So, I mean, it's absolutely insane the way that works. So it's a flat rate on the windows. And that's what they say the average is.
Okay. And then what happens with that other 400K? Like, how does that look? How does the
Oh, new boat, obviously. Grill, like the whole, you can't see me in a grill, huge chain. Like that's yeah, exactly.
you watch
No,
guy?
I am not, but for 400 grand, I might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want a Rolex, or you never had like a desire to get like an AP or like anything like that? Or are you like a truck guy? Would you
So
want?
for me, my end goal is to set up a overlanding opportunity for myself. So I'm a big fan of overlanding, which is just off-roading for long periods of time. And
Yeah.
you're out there camping, you're living out of your vehicle. So yeah, it would be a truck meant for that. I'm looking at the new 2024 GMC AT4X AEV XYZ 123 potato
IR
truck, whatever they're
squared, like
calling it. Yeah. And just because the opportunity, the first one I can't build myself because if anything goes wrong, like it's just not going to be good. So that's my end goal. For myself is to actually set that up as a channel and everything, doing that as a hobby or a business if I can. But yeah, I've never really been a Rolex guy, or any type of watch guy. I'm not really a jewelry person. Very much a tangible assets thing. I'd love to get into real estate, and so the plan with the 400 grand
build a
is
bunker.
to exactly build a bunker. That's it. Nuclear fallout. No, if that happens, I'm gonna be the first one running towards the light because ain't no what's there to live for at that point. Like it's gonna be miserable. I've already had the internet with nuclear fallout. No internet. Forget about that. No, goodbye. But anyhow, the goal is to reinvest in the business, expand. Like I said, create a business that is going to be able to be there for my nephews. If I have kids, for my kids, if they want that.
When you have
If
kids.
yeah, we'll see. But the for me, that's a form of generational wealth right there. Leaving something for the
It outlives
world
you.
that's better. Yeah, exactly. making the world a better place than when it was. I'd love to be able to volunteer or I'm sorry, donate some of that money. Haven't figured out where. We have a really good outreach opportunity through a different business a different church that I work with. So maybe I'll go that route. But the plan is to reinvest. Obviously, if you sit there and take all of your profit and blow it away, you're not going to have it for a long. A fool and his money is soon departed. And while I may be foolish in a lot of things, that's one thing that I won't be.
Yeah, you got to preserve it, and then you got to multiply it once you preserve it. And then you got to place it in the right places. Like you're thinking like tangible assets, appreciating assets like real estate. But
Exactly. I'm going to be sending it to John to invest in crypto. That's my plan.
yes, sir. But so let's talk some like 6 month and like end of the year goals. So like what's the roadmap like for you for the rest of the year for 2020?
For sure. So in 6 months, and I go off of worst case scenario just because I'd rather go worst case scenario and be prepared than best case scenario and be unprepared. So I think in 6 months, I could be one of the best at doing this. That's my goal for myself, is to be so good at it that I can always step in if anybody needs my help for any reason and do the job. It also makes sure that I am good enough at the job to know what it's going to take. So whenever I'm asking somebody to do something, I know that it's possible. So that's my 6 month plan, is to be the absolute best at it, have our crew absolutely crushing it. Then at that 6 month mark, I'm going to be looking at expanding into Buffalo, setting up the crew, getting those guys trained, paying for their training, all that, getting them lead certified, master trained, all of that, expanding into Buffalo. Now I have 2 different markets that I can have people working 5 days a week consistently, know that their money is secure, know that they're going to get a paycheck every Friday, know that their health benefits are going to come through, know all these things that I've had to deal with in other companies with discomfort and everything. They will never have to worry about that under my watch. I guess maybe I am a watch guy, but after that, looking at a year, I'd like to expand to 2 crews, start putting that plan together, and set that up. I'd ideally moving into a almost solely W-2 for the window installation. And then after the first year, we're going to be shifting our focus. And once our crews are the absolute best, that's when we'll start getting back into the general contracting side of things, looking at other opportunities. But with the opportunity with the company that we're working with right now, these guys are awesome. And I want to make sure that we're the absolute best that we can be. So these guys have no question at the end of the day. If I say, hey, I want to bring on another crew, they're like, absolutely. If I say, hey, I want to bring on this subcontractor, they're like, absolutely. So that's the plan right now for 6 months, 1 year, and then after 1 year.
And then how long do you like long term? How long do you think you can be doing business with this window installation company? Like, what's that goal? Like,
from what I'm watching with these guys have a great marketing plan. They're relevant on TikTok. These guys are I'm looking at the quality of their product and it's phenomenal. I'm looking at their customer service. It's phenomenal. They are expanding at such a fast rate because they are so good at what they do and they take so much time, which is why I'm honored to be there. I think that this is something that we could set up, put managers in place. It could be a consistent form of revenue for us. And I'm always a big fan of multiple income streams. So this could be consistent revenue for us until I retire. And so
this was one cold call.
Yeah, one cold call. One cold call after I was pumped up off a meeting. Yeah.
It's crazy how that works, dude.
Right. I'm sitting there going, dude, in this system, I could retire my dad.
And dude, you were looking at other second jobs. You even were applying. You got a second job because you were like, oh, like Milton Cat, I have to figure it out. And then you fucking cold call this one company and you set up an in-person meeting. And now you're talking about how like this could literally like be a income stream until you retire.
Right, exactly. Not just an income stream. Like I'm not looking at this as being like a dividends thing, but this is hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like this is more money. If I was just to do this, just this and this alone, this is more money than I have ever made by myself in a year, ever. And
I haven't even made that much money in a year. Like that's a lot. $400,000.
Yeah, like, it's insane numbers. Now, of course, like I said, the plan is to retire my dad as soon as possible. That man has worked his ass off for 50, 60 years. He deserves a break. He deserves to enjoy his life. My dad's the type of guy where he would always give us the best stuff that he possibly could and never take it for himself. So the opportunity to be able to do that, it's huge. If you can't tell, my dad's my hero, my mom's my hero. I have great parents. I was very blessed with the parents that I have. So if that could be the situation where we could be in here, I mean, you're looking for a cheerleader, you found one, because I had no idea how I was going to do that before. You're looking at systems right now, the way the world is set up, and not to get too far out into the weeds, but you have to make 100 grand to be able to afford a small house. Like it's ridiculous. It's not feasible. It's not plausible. So
And it's
the
like,
nine
when
to
did
five
this become the reality? It's like, it just literally just like out of nowhere, like in the last 18.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Like it just became completely unrealistic. It's disappointing that the 9 to 5, the things that our parents were promised and were able to be delivered on is something that we can't have. And of course, it makes it then difficult for those same parents to be able to understand the situation. And why would they? So, I mean, they're talking about expanding the retirement age to 70, all these things. It's not feasible for the world. So, if you can set yourself up where you can be in a position that you can be running your own business, you get to work off of your own word. Every success is your own. Every failure is your own. I got frustrated with every success being my manager's and every failure being my own, no matter where it was.
And it's
Every one of
hard.
their
It's like, not
failures.
everyone can start their own business. And
Oh
that's
no,
what I think.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
If the 9 to 5 is working for you, if you're finding happiness in that, if you found a job that you can do, and a lot of my friends have, and they're awesome at it. I got some of the best friends doing the best things, the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. I am probably the dumbest one out of my entire friend group. And they're just phenomenal people, phenomenal engineers and everything. So they're doing great. They're absolutely killing it. But I also have another friend that started their own business, and he's crushing it as well.
Yeah.
So my best advice that I could give to try and bring this back around is, if you're sitting there with that same itch where the 9 to 5 is not working for you, you have that passion to go out and create something on your own. Maybe not on your own, but of your own. Get
Exactly.
in the job, reach out to John, reach out to me, give me a call, text me, send a message on whatever this system is using, and just start that conversation. Start talking to Parker, start talking to Mark, start talking to John, start talking to these people who are doing it, and see if it's something that you could do.
And that's the one thing I hate, when people are like always just like rationalizing and just like trying to like undermine like people that have like coaching programs or academies or mentorships, is because like, at the end of the day, starting a business is hard. Like, not like, so many people, like, I've failed at businesses before I've had one that stuck. And it's like, every single successful person that I've ever met that's like 10x the amount of accomplishments that I've achieved in 23 years, they all have mentors. Like, they
Yep,
literally all talk to people. It's like what you said, like, the 5 people that you're most around is like kind of like a product of like what you're going to turn out to be. It's like, you can't just you can't build an empire by yourself. Like,
absolutely not. I
just
started
not
four
even.
companies. I started 4 companies before I started my cleaning business. They all failed. Uh, the computer business company, bad timing, bad timing. The 30 series for Nvidia came out, skyrocketed. We couldn't compete. I started an engineering company with some of the most brilliant people I have ever met in my life. I am so thankful for them to be in my realm, or just be around me and teach me so much. Um, and we could not get a idea that was actually profitable and make money on it yet. So I started a pressure washing company, and that failed. And pressure washing is an easy one. I just didn't have the passion or the desire to make it work. Nor did I have the knowledge. I started a landscaping company that was, I apologize, it's lawn care, not landscaping. But I started a lawn care company and then became allergic to cutting grass. I've cut grass my whole life. My whole life. I start making money cutting grass. All of a sudden, I'm allergic.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
This
And
is
it's
the
like,
first time, and I absolutely was afraid, 100%. And I know you know that as well. I kept on holding back on things, only doing partially, being really slow and timid on it, and that's shown in my business. But it's still, it worked even with me being timid about it. So I think that you can do it at your own pace. It's just, of course, that's going to absolutely reflect on things to a certain degree. But if you want to learn a lot before you get started, that's a way to do it as well. But I also know, and that's just the style that worked for me this time. But I know some of the guys in the academy that jumped in head first. What was it? Their first month, they were clearing 5, 6 grand. I mean, Nick's absolutely killing it. He did
And
what,
Nick has a
9 grand?
Nick still works a full-time job. If you guys are
Right.
still watching this, like this guy, he's from Rochester. So like, how far is that from you? Like 45
Uh,
minutes,
about 30. Yeah.
30 minutes. It's like he's
Yeah.
currently working for his dad's company and he can't walk away because he's basically the company at this point. Like he's hoping that like in the next 12, 18 months, he could get out of that and then move. I think he wants to move to like Naples or whatever, and then like have his cleaning business be automated at that point where he can start a second one in Naples. But like he's working a full-time job and he's still managing his cleaning business that did like $9,500 in January in revenue. And he
Absolutely.
was upset about that number too.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when Nick reached out to me about trying to get him some more cleaners and everything just through connections and everything. That'd be the other thing. Another tangent. One of the best things that you can do for yourself if you're starting your own business is network as much as possible. There is somebody that you know. The contract that I've got that is going to absolutely make my business, I got because I talked to my neighbor. There is somebody that you know that knows something about what you're doing or has an opportunity, and there's going to be some person that wants to help you just because they're a good person and they know that they like you. So reach out to as many people as you can, get as much information as you can, and it works. All of my big contracts, throughout my entire career, whether it was a 9 to 5 job, whether it was this job now, all of my big stuff has all been through networking. It's all been talking to somebody who knows somebody else. And now I know everybody. I always got a guy for something. You need a guy to clean your house at 2 a.m. Oh, do I got a guy for
Yeah,
you?
and it's like I want to bring it back with Terrence. It's like the beginning to the end of this massive contract that is going to change the entire scope of your general contracting business. It's like you knew the guy or knew of the guy that you got connected with to start the negotiation, start that initial cold call. And then it's like one of your cleaners that you hired, that you fired, Terrence, you could talk on that. He was the one that helped you with like getting all the contracts together and like making like the legitimacy of like actually finalizing this deal and stamping it.
Right. Yeah. And so what happened with that was I was originally working with Terrence. He was my first guy, absolute baller, had great conversations with him. And then one of the big issues is we couldn't agree on cost. So he was looking for a certain amount. I couldn't get that to him. So I ended up having to move him to the wayside and start working with a different cleaner. Then from that, I had a situation where that cleaner couldn't come through for me. She was out of state, of course, which is totally fine. And so I reached back out to him like, hey, man, I got work for you. Can you do it? He was like, absolutely. And when I tell you this guy has been a godsend, and since then, he's helped me negotiate my pricing. He's helped me gain contract leads. I'm looking at a lead right now for a 400 unit apartment complex that's Section 8 that he got me because his brother lives there. Like so he's been an absolute baller. And I think that that's another big important thing is find the best. And if you don't have the best, let them go. Let them go.
It's like once you find the best, hold on to them and
Oh,
take care of
absolutely.
them.
Yeah, I'm
Because
never
like
getting rid
you
of
obviously
Terrence.
like for the bringing it back to like the cleaning business, it's like obviously you want your clients to like be happy and satisfied, but like your cleaners are your assets. They're your literal assets. It's like this is a drop servicing business, so like you don't have any tangible assets. It's not like you're running a brick and mortar business, but if you have any intangible assets, it's your cleaners because they're the ones that are actually going out to these jobs and doing the labor for you, doing the clean. So like you need to take care of them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And there's nothing I wouldn't do for my cleaners because they take care of me. I mean, I can send Terrence anywhere and feel completely 100% confident that he's not just going to do the job, he's going to go above and beyond, and he's going to make me look like a genius for hiring him. And so for me, I won't accept anything less. For my cleaners, I won't accept anything less because I've already got the guy who's going to absolutely kill it. He's talking to me about expansion. He's talking about bringing on other people. He's talking about other opportunities. And those are the people that I want to work with. And you can find them. You can find them. I know that.
You know why you want to work with them? Because they're actually genuinely like passionate about what they do. And that brings back with everything like what you're doing now full circle with the general contracting business. It's like everything that you were describing 30, 45 minutes ago, how like from your past experience with Milton Cat and the other companies that you're working at, how you were like treated like at these different workplaces. It's like now that you're the guy that's calling the shots, you can control the situation and you're genuinely passionate about the work, like the industry that you're working in. So you're going to just make sure that not only your business, but the people that you're going to be working with, the crews that you're going to be on the ground with are treated as properly too. And it's like, you guys are all passionate about what it is that you're building. And that's a
Absolutely.
massive advantage, not only just like competition, but just like success at large, like for like the business that you're starting. It's like were you passionate about power washing?
No.
And
So
it failed.
honestly, no.
It
Yep.
failed.
Yeah, absolutely did. And to be completely honest, I didn't think that cleaning was going to be like, if you would have asked me 5 years ago what was going to be the business that was going to finally take off for me, I wouldn't have told you it was cleaning. I wouldn't have. And so the opportunity right now, and for me specifically, cleaning is the opportunity for me to do something nice for somebody else, of course, getting paid for it. But the look on their face when their house is completely transformed, it's massive. That's huge. You're bettering their life. It's and there's so many things that we throw our money at every day, weekly subscriptions, whatever you want to call it, that give us absolutely no joy. We try to pretend that they do, but they don't. They suck the life out of us. And so when you get the opportunity to actually present somebody with something that is useful for them, something that they can see the value in, and it actually be valuable, I don't need to sell you snake oil. I get to sell you an awesome opportunity for your house to look better than it has since it was new. And so for me, that's huge. That's everything that I'm looking to do. That's why I love general contracting. It's the passion that my dad had. You know, you get to go there and fix people's problem. You get to be the aspirin to their headache. You get to
Yeah.
see a pain point and remove that pain point. And it's huge. It's absolutely massive.
Plus, you're a people's person. So you get to communicate with them throughout the process and like you're building a relationship, like you're expanding your network. Who knows? You might be cleaning someone's house that might be able to open some doors for you down the road too.
Absolutely.
Cool. Like
I've
that's just
had,
how the
yeah,
world works.
yep. I've had cleans where the guy was like, all right, cool. I've got Airbnbs. We're going to do that now. I just went to, this was an in-person one just because of the complexity of it. And I want to make sure that I gave them an honest quote that was accurate. Um, and I'm talking to this guy and he's an HVAC guy. And so he's working for this awesome company out in, I think it was Rochester. And so he was like, yeah, this is what we do. I was like, great. Gave him my card because absolutely am I going to want to work with this guy in the future. If he's doing HVAC, chances are he probably has some sort of remodeling needs for those companies and everything that, hey, I'm going to send this guy. I didn't even land that job because his company ended up doing a lot of the work for free. And I was like, dude, if they're going to do it for you, I can't beat free. I can't beat that.
Yeah.
So, and he's a super good guy, but I feel pretty confident that if I, if that guy sees something and sees something that they need, he's going to give me a call.
Yeah.
So
Because he's
I'm
going to remember the
super excited.
conversation that he had with you because you resonate
Exactly.
with them.
Yeah. Basically, I have no friends. And so this is my opportunity to talk to people. So this is how I make friends now is I convince them that I'll come clean their home and we can be friends afterwards. It's only awkward when they kick me out, but
That's funny. But yeah, so we've been going for an hour. I mean, I don't know if you want to end it on that, but like
that I
but
have no
any
friends. Yeah,
last
that's a great way to end it. Yeah. But I have
any
no friends. Please reach out to me on Facebook or something. I need friends. No.
we'll throw your Instagram in the description.
Absolutely. But yeah, let's see here. Let me just make sure that I covered everything that you had asked.
Yeah, no,
Let me
you're
do,
good.
yeah,
But so what let's just go to closing remarks. Like what is it
for
that
sure.
you want to just if you had one thing of advice to say to anyone that's watching this video that is for a second considering starting a general contracting business, starting any home service business, starting a business, taking action, replacing the mindset that they currently have where they hate their current situation, like what would you say to that one person that is on the chopping block of like, if I don't take any action right now, then I'm just going to be trapped for the next 20, 30 years and I'm going to be regretting it for the rest of my life. Like everyone at some point has been in that type of situation where it's like anxiety, pressure, I don't know what to do. And then they don't take action because for whatever reason, taking action is just so difficult these days. So
Absolutely.
what would you say to that person?
For the people that trust me and my credibility and everything, the people that I've earned that with, reach out to John, reach out to Mark, reach out to Parker. If you have these ideas, you know that you're more than welcome to reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk you through them. For the people who don't know me, don't trust me, I haven't earned your trust yet, reach out to somebody you do trust. There's absolutely no reason not to ask. What's the worst that you could hear from them? It's a bad idea. Wouldn't you rather know that it's a bad idea and follow that and then at least learn something along the way? Because you're always going to get progress from something. You're always going to glean or gain something. But I would so much rather know that, take that opportunity and fail and then fail again and then fail again and eventually be successful than be miserable for 30 years, not be able to afford a home, not be able to afford the lifestyle that the previous generations have been able to do, and then also not be able to leave something absolutely magnificent for the generation that precedes or that comes after us. That's that. So if you have that itch at all, or you're even just looking at it, considering it, if you trust me, reach out to the people that I reach out to, or reach out to me. If you don't trust me, but you still want to know more, still reach out to John. He's a great person to talk to. I didn't know him before this. I still haven't met him in person.
We're gonna have those events though. We're gonna have those in-person events soon.
Exactly.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
about soon, but eventually we will.
Basically, he wanted the Bills to lose so he wouldn't come help shovel. And so that's the real reason. But reach out to John, reach out to Mark, either way, and just talk to them. They're very easy people to talk to. They're very easy people to get along with. They didn't try to sell me their course. I asked them after talking to them, all right, how do I get involved? So they're not going to try and pressure you into a sale. They're going to give you honest advice, and at least you can walk away feeling more confident that you're going to eventually find the answer you're looking for. Because if you have that same itch like I do, there's no 9 to 5 that would satisfy me. There's none.
Yeah.
And so
even
I think there's more
even
people
if you
like that.
start this, even if you start this like without any involvement with like me, Mark, Elias, Parker, any of the team, and you fail, like that's good because even if you don't even learn, let's just say you fail and you don't even learn a lesson, like your mind didn't even like spit out a lesson that you learned from it, at least you got the experience.
Absolutely.
At least you actually try. Because there's
At least you,
people that will go their entire life without actually trying. And then
right.
they're on their deathbed and they're like, damn, like what if I like started that business when I was 27 or 28? What if I like, it's like, who knows where, like, who knows what my situation would have been when I'm 40, 50 years old versus right now where I'm like in a very tough spot. It's like, you don't want to
Right.
have those conversations to yourself. That's the worst thing that you could possibly do. Life is way too short for that.
There's
So
no age.
trust.
There's no age that you need to be. We've got kids that are in college doing it. We've got kids that just left college that are doing it. I say we, like I'm actually not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. I'm just part of the program. But there's me who's 27. I don't even know who's the oldest person there. But there's no right age to get started. I guess the right time would be now.
The best
if you
time
can,
you could have started was yesterday.
true, very true, absolutely. But I think that the opportunity, if you want to set it up where you want to eventually replace your W-2 income, that's an opportunity. I'm watching other people do it. That was my plan until plans got changed. So there's absolutely the opportunity to do that. I think it's a smart move if that's the system that you're set up in. Or if you could dive in head first, do that. I think that the worst thing that you could do is deny yourself the opportunity to do something amazing. I think that you should just absolutely at least give it a try. Talk to somebody about it.
100%. Well,
Thanks,
good
man. I
stuff.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.